So it's Friday, it's that time of the week. It's time for Umbraco Hangout. Today I'm joined with Marcin and Callum. How are you doing, guys?
Hello. Hey, we all right? How are you?
Yep. I'm good, thank you. So it's today's Umbraco Hangout Coffee edition.
Coffee, yeah, we've bashed the two concepts together for the first time. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, we still don't know how it will go, but this is a combination of uHangoutCoffee and uHangout. And to be honest, right now I can go to my personal Trello and check out the one of my dreams. I always wanted to be a guest in uHangout.
Oh, there we go. Job done.
Yes. But yeah, to be honest, and having you, Warren, here, you were the inspiration, of course, for all of this series. And we were just missing you too much on Fridays. So that's why we started all of it. And good to have you here.
Thanks for inviting me.
So yeah, probably we'll go through the whole news. I'm also back. I was really missing it. And yeah, we will go through the list of news in this week, and we can start from Umbra Tea Day, right? We have an Umbra Tea Day, and yeah, we know, Warren. We know. We saw the tweets. But I can share the screen to maybe scan through the community activity around this hashtag today, because
it's been a lot.
Year by year, more people are just jumping in the fun. How we can describe it for I don't know, maybe non-community members?
Everyone wears their favorite Umbraco t-shirts.
Yeah, but we some of the people are jumping to the history. And Warren, we've seen your picture from which year it was?
Oh, I don't know. That was the 5th birthday party that me and Adam organized. That was on the Thames. On some crappy, well, not crappy, but some canal boat that made quite a few people seasick. So that was 2008, I guess, I think. So 10-ish years ago now.
I see some pattern here.
What, with Niels? Yeah, I think he was just photobombing around the office.
In the
Niels
HQ.
did everyone in the office.
That's really great, and I think that's it's nice fun. And I tried to describe it for one of my colleagues today why I'm wearing the Umbraco t-shirt today, and they are really like the whole concept. I think that it's something awesome, and also some of those t-shirts are really rare.
There's some super rare ones in there.
They cannot be bought I don't know anywhere outside of the specific event, which is awesome. And yeah, that's and someone introduced the idea today on Twitter about having the library of designs of the t-shirts. Yeah. So maybe we can just if you community are watching, maybe everyone can take a picture of the design, and maybe you can collect them in some kind of grid and collect them by year or something like that. I don't know.
That's an awesome idea.
Yeah,
really
sounds a good idea.
Really cool to go back and see all of the old designs, and maybe even have like a little badge or something that says it's super rare, or it's like a one of a kind.
I think as the longer you go back, the further you go back, the more rare they are. You got to think like Code Garden, like the first Code Garden, there was like 30, 40 people or whatever that Niels told me. So yeah, it's like 30 t-shirts or so.
The same
as opposed to like last year's Code Garden where we're like 600 plus.
Yeah,
super rare.
Stickers. I know a few people collecting those, or have still got them from like 2007, 2008, and they've got like old Umbraco logos on them and stuff. They still got them.
The ones with the wings.
Yeah, the wings.
Yep, vintage.
Nice. Vintage. Okay, guys. When I was away, you had an amazing fun last Friday on Hackathon. And I know that it was a really nice output of it. And I've seen a blog post and some tweets, which I can share right now. And Adam wrote a blog post summarizing the whole fun. And we can see that some of the people were really active around it. And 13 PRs were submitted, 10 PRs merged, and 3 still pending review.
That number may be out of date now as well. This was written on Tuesday or Monday. So,
and what caught my eye, to be honest, was that some of the people made their first pull request to Umbraco Core once again, and it was Andy, for example, and Steven, plus Adam, right? Adam made the first pull request to Umbraco Core.
Yeah.
And you, Callum, submitted your first pull request to documentation?
The documentation. This week, one of our project managers, Katie, did a pull request last week to the documentation, but there was a merge conflict that arose, and I had to step in and help her out. So in doing that, I found that there was a load of files that were kind of temp data in the repo that should be ignored, and so I added a gitignore file. Really simple, doesn't actually affect the documentation in any way, but it makes contributing maybe a little bit easier.
Yeah, and I think that
it all helps. It all helps.
Yeah, a lot of things like that popping out during the hackathons and after them, and that's good because it's improving the yet another hackathon, and not only hackathon but the whole contribution for the Umbraco, not only Umbraco project, right? And we can jump to speaking about Umbraco. Someone shared today the CMS Critic Awards are collecting nominees, and I know that Umbraco, I remember it from my presentations. I don't know if anyone of you remembers that. Not that. Umbraco was winning of CMS Critic Awards one year. I can't remember which year it was, but we can all submit nominations. So yeah, we know who we want to nominate. And of course, we will share the link to the form where we can submit nominees, and let's just do it, right? And Callum, you know something more about 24 Days series?
Yeah, so the 24 Days series is coming back, and I've been speaking with Jan. So that will be that he said kind of they're looking for articles by the 1st of October, really, or kind of around 1st of October time to be submitted by November. So if people are interested, even though it's only just turned August, we're starting to think about Christmas.
Yeah, we can see Carol.
They're after writers.
Some people
Carol
really
seems very excited for Christmas with that GIF as well.
Yeah, but we've heard that some of the authors didn't publish their articles in the last year, so that means that there is a lot of interest, a lot of authors really wanting to submit something and write something. But yeah, there is still room for more, and there's I to be honest, I don't know the better source of combined knowledge in one place in terms of blog posts, and I'm always going back and I'm always finding answers for my questions there. I don't know how it's possible, but
it seems like you Google a specific topic or something, and pretty frequently it comes up with a 24 Days article or maybe a Scrift article, but the 24 Days ones are a really good source of knowledge. I think there's maybe 5 or 6 years worth there now as well. So
yep, something about 6.
Yeah, it's been going on for quite a few years now. So kudos to them too for putting it together. But yeah, I didn't realize they organized it this early in advance. Maybe it's just me who's like leaves everything to the last minute, like maybe my Christmas shopping as well.
Maybe they are just pretending.
Maybe.
But yeah, speaking about blogs, of course, we also referred to blogs in our episode title today because it was a very bloggy week. There were a lot of blogs and posts released, and Warren, one was yours. And we can see that you are really active lately in terms of blogging about what you are doing with V8, for example. So maybe you can maybe share more about this journey, maybe something what's not in the blog posts.
Yeah, for sure. So it's been kind of working on V8 the last maybe month or so with the rest of the core team at HQ. So getting my hands dirty with V8 means that I'm kind of chief tester and breaker in terms of the team. So Shannon and Stefan are maybe working on variants. They'll pass it over to me to do a review and test. And then I come up with some weird scenarios or things that maybe that hasn't been thought about. And then maybe they spark ideas for me to just write a blog post. One was to do with login the other day. I was kind of fed up with Log4net just because it's old and it's maybe not the right way to be doing login these days, in my opinion. But so I just wanted to see, could we quite easily just swap out Log4net for Serilog? So like a structured login framework. And yeah, with a relatively simple, I could swap it out and it would get put into the light injecting container and everything would work swimmingly. So I was quite surprised after talking to Stefan, just like, oh, this is kind of my idea. And he's like, yeah, we can do this. It's already works out of the box. You just have to implement this and wrap the iLogger implementation and it will just work. So that's cool. And then I've been working on
the hackathon, wasn't there? around.
What's
so
that?
you start as
Yes,
part of the
and then
hackathon, you started looking.
last week's hackathon. I think Seb brought it up maybe with you guys at the hackathon kind of planning meetings. Like, why don't we just kill off Log4net and try and get Serilog replaced?
Yeah.
So yeah, last week I done some investigation to kind of see how far we could get quite quickly, and it's kind of been turned into my pet project in the evenings. And status update is that, yep, it's going quite well. Fingers crossed, if I can get some more evenings next week and I don't sweat to death at home, then I will hopefully get a little bit further for the guys to review something. So yeah, that's going well.
There was a bit of discussion too about how we can swap out Log4net for Serilog, but without breaking packages, potentially like Diplo Tracelog Viewer, or some of the things that maybe Umbraco Cloud utilizes those logs for.
Yeah, so which was basically part of this investigation. So found out that Diplo Log Trace Viewer package does a lot of regular expressions under the hood, managing or reading the kind of text file on disk. So I've managed to get Serilog to output the exact same text file on disk in the same pattern format. So in theory, it will just work on V8 and kind of move across nicely. And then for our cloud stuff, there's ways for us to do login for our custom needs if we need to shove it in a database table and make it available via the portal and things like that. So there's ways, but it's a lot more nicer to work with is the key for anyone interested.
Awesome.
And then prior to that, so the blog post that came out this week was a application or a Electron package or whatever we want to call it, Windows desktop thingy. So it's a new cache explorer, and the reason that it come about is that after just again another chat with Stefan, normally I was like, oh, how do I like inspect what's in the cache? It's like, well, you can't really. It's just like this binary file on disk that lives in. So like in the old days, or the days that we've got now with V7, you can look at the umbraco.xml cache file on disk, open it with a text reader or text editor, and you can view the XML and see what's in there. With new cache, if you was to kind of open that with, say, Visual Studio Code, it would just not give you anything. You just get binary back. So I wanted to design a tool that was able to just kind of peek inside what was inside the new cache file, and hence this kind of little project was born. Part of it, Stefan had already done in terms of he had decided to do a PowerShell kind of script or utility that would kind of do the same thing. But me being me, it was like, well, I'm not sure if I really want to use PowerShell to kind of like inspect the file, and yeah, maybe it's not the best. So, and I wanted to learn something new, so I just kind of picked up Electron just as a kind of a new tool to pick up. So it's only, it's HTML, JavaScript, Node. And what it does is it talks to, so this is a follow-up blog post I'm supposed to write, but the crux of it is it talks to a self-contained .NET framework web API. So it's running from an executable that will then have a web API that's at like localhost port, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the Electron app can then communicate to the self-contained web API, and then you can just use all your .NET framework packages and things like that. So then you can, in this case, it's the same underlying .NET framework library that Stefan is using in V8 for new cache. So that's how it kind of communicates. So we then just use pretty much the same code that's in core to read the file, and then I deserialize it to JSON, and then it comes back down to the Electron UI. So that's it
really,
in a
really
nutshell.
cool. That's really cool. I was going to actually ask how you were interpreting this binary tree, whether you were doing that in like JavaScript or something crazy, but that makes so much sense. That's really, really cool.
Use the existing code that we already have. Yeah, and so if the frame or the package or NuGet package was built with .NET Standard, then in theory the Electron package could be cross-platform. However, as the .NET NuGet package that we depend on is only .NET Framework compatible, then we can only have this kind of Electron application for Windows.
Nice.
And what worth to mention, it's on GitHub, right?
Yes, this is on GitHub.
I just realized, and everyone can check it, but in terms of .NET Standard, I remember that the same is for Umbraco Cloud Client, right? Headless client,
Yes.
which is also running as a .NET Standard library, and I've been using it for Xamarin App, for example, in my demo. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm really eager to check more about it, and of course, when we'll be developing more with V8, we will need it for sure.
Yes, yeah. At least there's a starting point. There was discussion. I think Lee Kelleher said, "Why didn't I just kind of put this in the back office?" And my initial response is that, for me, I'm not sure if I'd want to look at in the entire contents of a cache file inside the back office. There might be scenarios what maybe I'm not thinking about, but for me, when I've always wanted to inspect the kind of the Umbraco XML cache file, I would always kind of just open it in a text editor, do what I need to find, and find it. Hence the kind of the similar train of thought.
Yeah, but
I think there might be like some kind of integrity check, maybe as a health check, that the number of documents that you have in the database matches the number of documents you have in your new cache file, for instance, maybe. Or I'm sure the community thinks of scenarios that we don't get to think of. So I'm sure the awesome community will figure things out.
Yeah. Okay. So we will of course share the link to this blog post, and not only so check all the rest of Warren's posts, and that's really amazing that we can have a sneak peek, really well described, because we can see the code, we can see PRs, but maybe we don't understand exactly for what it was created or what's the motivation behind it. So yeah, keep it up, please.
Yeah, thank you. No worries.
And besides that, we had some. Also, other interesting blog posts. Nathan wrote, for example, the story behind using Umbraco content services outside of Umbraco, and I was amazed also about the authentication done here by the query string parameters, for example. So if you're
he sets a cookie, doesn't he? He sets some auth cookies based on a URL that you initially hit.
Yep.
So then it can authorize and do all kinds of stuff. And he's integrated it with Plumber. So his workflow builder package, and then I'm not quite really sure what he's doing exactly with that, but seems very interesting. He's been very active on Twitter as well, hasn't he, about previewing content and stuff when you're not logged in.
Yeah, and also Owen wrote a post about his journey with contribution to Umbraco and his first pull request. And Warren, you mentioned this pull request in terms of merging it to V8, right?
Yes. I think Mads literally merged this up into the V8 branch yesterday or the day before. So yeah, when I pulled changes down this morning, I was like, oh, nice. I've got this nice, pretty icon color picker. So awesome work. And,
we know you are watching. So it's been merged. So that's good. And also, we've noticed a new release this week. And I don't know if you know anything more than I in these terms, but Umbraco Pylon framework, if I don't know, calling it correctly, was something new and something big created for what? To developing well-architected, developer-focused Umbraco solutions that maximize reuse and testability. And Ismail shared it for us inside of our team, and we've been all trying to find the time to play more with it. But this is something new, something fresh, and something for building better Umbraco applications. So yeah, let's find time to play with it. I don't know, Warren, if you've seen it at all.
No, I rarely get a chance to kind of browse through the packages section anymore. But so it's a starter kit that gives you conventions on how to.
I think that's kind of the gist of it. That's kind of the gist of it. There's some helpful methods in there as well for kind of people often, I mean, maybe have a content repository or something, so accessing specific nodes in the tree in a conventioned way.
Something what Anthony wanted to build one day, right? Something node-get or I remember the idea about it. So to simplify Umbraco content, Umbraco services even more, so for the standard usages. Yeah, let's just dig into it, and maybe we can share more about it or invite the author for the next week or the week after to talk more about it if it's really something required by us developers. And we can jump to other stuff, because besides, of course, the standard releases, there is always a lot of things going on. In Poland, we've announced some speakers for our Polish festival, and we will have Rune, Sebastian, Microsoft MVP in terms of .NET performance, Konrad Kokosa, which is my friend, and we will announce more probably in the beginning of the next week. And
I think you're forgetting one key thing, though. There's UmbracoCoffee Live there. That's surely that's the important one, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know those guys, especially this third one.
Yeah, the unicorn. He looks a bit dodgy to me.
But yeah, of course, we'll do UmbraCoffee Live from the stage, which we're trying to do from all of the festivals right now. And other festival, US festival, also announced some of the first speakers, and we can see a lot of interesting talks and faces here.
A couple of members from HQ. We've got Pete and Ravi coming over from the UK in there. I don't know who this Matt Shull guy is, but he seems to be pretty hot on web performance, so that could be a really interesting session.
Yeah, I remember his talk from one of the previous US festivals, and it was very focused on the performance from the both front and back end perspective. So that's really nice.
Awesome.
And Callum, in terms of events, you have something to share?
Oh yeah, so the barbecue, the Umbraco barbecue is coming back, and
now we are all getting hungry.
Now we're all getting hungry. We've got 4 locations this year, which is a big step up from last year. We have Bristol happening next Friday, Aarhus in Denmark, London at the end of August, and Manchester happening at the start of September. So a action-packed schedule of grilling and enjoying ourselves in the hopefully hot weather if it continues. There'll be more details put up on Twitter and things in the next couple of weeks about that.
Yeah, I really miss that. I don't want. I want to be on any of those. But it's a nice segue to the next topic, because Mike announced the second Umbraco virtual meetup. And did you guys attend the first one?
I didn't get a chance. I was not around. But I'm hoping with this one. In fact, it's the first day of my holiday, so we'll see if I can dial in.
I jumped only for a second, but I watched the recording after all, and a lot of interesting topics was shared, and some of the sneak peeks of packages, for example, which weren't shared anywhere else, which is amazing. And I think that it's a great idea to just catch up with all of the community members across the globe on virtual meetup. So it's August 25th. And we have some other meetups. I spot the Swedish meetup in Gothenburg, hosted by WebMind, which is 2 days before the virtual meetup. And yeah, that's all about meetups. Also, let's finish up my tabs list there. 4 new Umbraco HQ members, interns right now. 2 of them joined the D team, and 2 of them joined the Support Warriors team. And I know that they are right now waiting for a long list of tasks right now to start working with Umbraco and doing more things. And as we can see, Umbraco team is still growing, and probably it won't stop. And what else?
There was some good jokes on Twitter earlier in the week with Joachim and Morten about how we can maximize the space in HQ a bit better. And they were like, oh, we could bring in a night shift and have everyone work in the night, so we can basically double the capacity of the office.
Having all of the time zones covered, it won't be the bad idea, right?
Everyone has to share their
not doing nights.
Yeah, Warren's
Speaking about time zones, right? We had an episode of Bob and Kevin show with one of the HQ members this week, with Andrew Barta. I haven't had a chance to listen it yet, but I have it on my to-do list for the end of the week. And yeah, that's probably all what happened. Also, some of the great pull requests were created by community members, but the list is long, and I know you are also surprised about the amount of pull requests coming.
Yeah, I think since Code Garden and kind of the community pull request team, it's amazing the amount of contributions coming in. It's absolutely awesome. So keep up the good work, community, and it keeps us busy. It keeps Seb busy as well, and it also keeps us on the core team merging up from V7 into V8 as well. So keep up the good work.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's all for this week. A lot of things are happening. Hopefully, there will be a lot of things happening next week as well. Warren, thank you very much for joining us for this.
No worries.
uHangoutCoffee.
Thanks for inviting me.
And yeah, thanks for all watching us and commenting on YouTube. And yeah, see you next week.
Have a nice weekend and don't boil too much.
I'll try not to.
Right now, I can turn on my AC.
Is it too noisy?
Yeah, too noisy. Okay. Cheers, guys. Have a great rest of the weekend and the weekend. Cheers.